Hello, my name is Pat Bohse and welcome to SCAN. SCAN stands for Social Community Activities Network, and we've been providing services in Monmouth and Ocean County for the last 27 years. It is my pleasure to introduce Tracey Wolfman, CEO of We Care Adult Care. We will be talking about this great organization and the services that it provides. So welcome.
Thank you for having me today, Pat. It's a pleasure to be here at SCAN.
And I'm really happy that you were able to make it, because this is a really important conversation that we're going to have about the services, not only that you provide, but how these services are so important in the community for people who want to stay in the community. So before we do that, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yes, so I've been a nurse for 29 years now. Almost my entire career has been spent with the senior population. I started out as a candy striper, dedicating my time to volunteering. Went on to nursing school. I had experience in assisted living, nursing home, which is long-term care, adult day care, and the hospital. For about 15 years, I worked in a hospital setting. So I've had a full realm of all exposure. And with that, all the seniors are typically your patients, even though people like to think that when you work in the hospital, you have a younger clientele. So that's my nursing career. I started We Care Adult Care 15 years ago with my passion to take care of the seniors and keep them in the community. I am an adjunct professor at Monmouth University, which I teach wisdom and wellness of aging. And my other role is as an advocate and board member of the Alzheimer's Association of New Jersey, and now a board member of SCAN. So my job and my hope is to advocate and get exposure for all those services.
I'm really excited, mostly because you're a new board member to SCAN.
Yes.
I'm so pleased that you accepted the offer, because I think you bring a lot to our table. I mean, we've been talking about SCAN and its transformation in the last couple of years. And I work really closely with the board of directors, and while we have a fabulous board and they've been so supportive over the last couple of years, some of their skill sets are more business related versus aging related. So having the combination now is a win-win for us.
And also for me to let people know about SCAN and all that you have to offer here.
Yeah,
so.
We're the best kept secret in town, people tell us.
I agree.
And I think that everyone knows that marketing has been my biggest challenge for a variety of reasons, but I think that we're on a roll and going in the right direction. So as a member of SCAN's board, what are you envisioning?
Well, I've known about SCAN for many years, but it was a secret. And their mission, along with their culture, education, having active adults learn and enjoy themselves in this kind of surrounding, I think one of the things that I would like to see done is have more exposure and more of the active adults learn about SCAN and participate in the classes. In my role as an adjunct professor, I mean, we teach everyone, stay active, stimulate your mind, use your brain, and I think what SCAN has to offer is ideal for all of those groups.
And I'm looking forward to you helping me get that message out too, because of your other connections, especially in the Alzheimer's world and stuff like that.
Right. And, I think a lot of times older, I don't want to say older adults, but, we're talking about the 50-plus group. They're still young and active, and they don't usually see classes that are offered that might be of interest to them.
And I think that recently we had a board meeting, and one of the topics was, now that we have identified who our customers are more so, that we really have to look at our hours of operation, because you know as well as I that probably will work forever at some point, or maybe not full-time, but part-time.
Right.
And so how do you stop and smell the roses if the roses are only available 9 to 4?
Well, that's true. And, a lot of these seniors, they have to supplement their income. So they're working during the day most of the time, even if it's only part-time, but more seniors are working than not working. Yeah,
so we're going to look at that for the fall, this semester going forward, and then seeing if we can grow it in the future. And then the other thing that we had shared with our participants is that we're going to be SCAN on wheels.
Which I think is the most fabulous thing that you've started here. because I think going out into the community and letting them see and know what you're all about is going to be an ideal situation.
Yeah, and be able to bring the programs out to them. So we're excited. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And we will absolutely keep you busy.
That's how we stay young, right?
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about adult daycare. What is it? Who needs it?
So adult daycare was originally started probably in the early 70s as a program to help seniors that were living in the community. Most of the time it was in churches, like in church basements, as a few-hour program. So it's really evolved from there. Typically, people used to get dropped off at those centers. Now we have adult daycare that's licensed by the Department of Health. There's rules and regulations. So it's really grown and expanded into a very viable part of the long-term care continuum. It's still, as SCAN is, the best kept secret. So it's much more utilized than it was in the 70s and 80s, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
So again, my mom went to adult daycare for a while.
Right.
And it was really helpful to my father in regards to a short respite period. You know, so can you talk a little more about the whole family versus just the individual coming?
Well, so that's the overall of what adult daycare is. So what adult daycare evolved from in the church basement to now being, our center specifically is an 8-hour day. We provide transportation through most of Monmouth County. They come in, they have breakfast in the morning, they have a hot dinner at lunchtime. So then you start with activities, nursing care, multi-disciplines, social work, activities, nursing, activities assistance, all of those things under one roof. Mm-hmm. Caregiver respite is one of the biggest components to it because you have that spouse who's overwhelmed, you have the working child who doesn't have time to do that job. So it's really multifaceted in its benefit.
Yeah, and again, coming to your facility and other places, I mean, the people are engaged and they're enjoying themselves, and it's really a positive experience, especially when they were housebound, basically, in the past.
Most seniors, you know, they don't realize that there's other opportunities for them. They're isolated, they're lonely. Some of them are unsafe staying home during the day. So those parts of what can promote their well-being are very beneficial that a lot of people don't realize until they start seeking out other options of care.
Okay, so with that health insurance, as far as coverage for adult day, how does that work? Is there programs? Is there grants? Because I think some people just don't pursue the conversation with you and other kinds of providers because they don't know what to ask and if they would be eligible.
Right. So typically somebody's thrown into the role of caregiver. They don't ask for the job, they don't know how to do the job, and then they're aimlessly Googling. And, you know, they try and get a little bit of information. What we try and do once they come into our door or call us, they don't even have to be a member, there's a multitude of financial resources. So they might come in for their respite and they think they're going to pay out of pocket, and then we enlighten them with what's available for funding. So specifically, long-term care insurance does pay for adult daycare, and you would be surprised at the amount of people in that age group that do have it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
One gentleman, we had the opportunity to service for 11 years on his long-term care insurance, so that was a well-bought policy.
And well used.
And well used. So that's one of them. The Alzheimer's Association gives a $1,000 respite grant to be used for families who have a diagnosis of dementia or memory impairment. It's a one-time offer, but it's a good thing to help them get started. Then we have the New Jersey Department of Health and Senior Services has a grant. We are one of 2 in the county that are providers of the grant, and that typically will pay for 3 days a week of services if they have a diagnosis. Then we have Medicare and Medicaid programs. Medicare doesn't specifically pay for it, but there are waiver programs that pay for it. So if you're in a financial cutoff,
Limited.
we can get you services there. And then Family and Children's Service of Monmouth County has a statewide respite program. And you have to have a caregiver. So it's either the child that is providing services or the spouse, and it's to give them respite. And the goal of all of these grants is to keep them in the community, living with their family, somewhat independent, and not being institutionalized.
Yeah, so the last one, the respite with Family and Children's Services, again, my mother had Lewy body disease, and so she would go into a nursing home for like a week or two for respite purposes for my dad.
Right.
And so, I mean, it was just so helpful and so amazing.
Yeah, people don't realize the whole job that entails when you're a caregiver.
Yeah, and it's exhausting. And again, I think SCAN's purpose is to keep those caregivers too healthy.
They need that outlet. I mean, for a caregiver to be able to come to SCAN for a class and have enjoyment, even if it's for an hour or two, I mean, that is so beneficial to them.
And so we recently produced a DVD for them as far as chair yoga and regular yoga in case they want to do it in their home so that they can take some time for themselves.
That's a great takeaway. I
Yeah.
mean, that is
Yeah.
wonderful.
So we're hoping to promote that a lot more. So tell me what We Care Adult Daycare offers.
So We Care Adult Care started 15 years ago. We're a deficiency-free center since inception, which I'm very proud to say because the Department of Health puts out strict regulations, but we like to be the leader of that ability to do that. We offer a quality of life, caregiver relief, and building their self-esteem and self-worth. One thing I tell all my staff when they come in, you have to be very special to work with us. These are people who had jobs and careers and lives, and they're not just a feeble senior. So our job is to promote their self-worth, self-esteem, and give them that life that they deserve and not to be forgotten. Comprehensive program under one roof. All disciplines participate. Families can drop them off so they don't have to take them outside for other services. So besides our activities, nursing care, we also offer showers. We have a barber shop and beauty parlor in our facility. Occupational and physical therapy are provided if they should need that. Or they can just be the active senior living in the community that's lonely during the day. So there's lots of things going on in our building in a day. You can participate in some of them. You can participate in none of them if you want to do something by yourself. So it's all what they want to do.
Great, great.
So
Again, what's a typical member or person who uses adult daycare services look like?
So it's very varied, but I'm going to tell you from 70 to 90, you have the active senior who's lonely and bored up to the person who has some memory impairment, dementia, or Alzheimer's related disorder. Living with a child, adult child, we have a handful that live independently and they just come because they're sitting in their houses all day by themselves. Okay. So, they're all walking, talking. Some come in wheelchairs and some use walkers, but we like to think that they're all equal and the same.
Great. So I think there's a really good marriage here in regards to the kinds of services that are provided by you and, adult daycare centers and your affiliation with the Alzheimer's Association.
The cross-section of, the Alzheimer's Association is trying to promote, education, advocacy, and for relief for the caregiver. So as a board member going out into the community and trying to assist in that, because we have a tsunami of people being diagnosed. The baby boom generation is the largest generation that ever existed. So the amount of people that are going to be affected. And I had the opportunity in March to go to Washington, D.C. and speak one-on-one with my colleagues from the Alzheimer's Association to let them hear our voice to raise money and for research. So they listened. It's passing through Congress now. It's made its way, pretty far through so far. So I think they have 2 more votes.
Cool. So I do know that one of the statistics is that every day 10,000 people turn 65.
That's correct.
And that gets a little scary. Well, I think next year I'm one of those 10,000 on August 7th. But yeah, the numbers are huge.
The numbers are huge, and by 2020, which is 5 years, with 70 million baby boomers coming on the scene, I mean, services, scan activities, adult daycare, I mean, there's no one service that's going to be able to accommodate all of these people.
And I think the other issue that we're seeing is that, especially the baby boomers, we're considered the sandwich generation. I mean,
Right.
basically because in many cases we are now taking care of our parents, whether they're institutionalized or at home or living with us.
Correct.
And then we're seeing our kids either come back or in great need of our support. And so it becomes really stressful.
It is very stressful, and most people don't realize the financial component of it, and not to get into all the nitty-gritty of that, but it's something that we all need to think about. I mean, you go through the continuum of care, starting with adult daycare, that's about $23,000 a year. Then you go to home care, live-ins, and long-term care, which you're at the high spectrum of $120,000 a year.
Yeah.
And climbing.
Yes.
And that's a big nut to crack.
Or again, even think about, I mean, if you didn't
Right.
plan for it. And so that's like one of the issues, and again, SCAN's looking at as far as this financial literacy piece. You know, we're not talking about, you know, hopefully in the future we'll be talking to people to get ready to retire.
Right.
That's down the road for us. But people who are retired or ready, who have a fixed income, I mean, it's just so difficult. And when we look at the cost to just live in Monmouth County, I think we have some studies from the New Jersey Foundation on Aging that a renter in Monmouth County, it would cost an average of $29,000 a year.
We have spoken about this before, and that number is just astronomical because most people don't get that a year in income from Social Security, and unless they have something else to supplement that, which a lot of them will not, I mean, it's going to be impossible.
Yeah, and then and for family members, or again, their kids, to think about if mom or dad had to go into a nursing home and had no income and needed to get on Medicaid,
Right.
which is a whole nother word.
A whole nother process.
You know, there is this, you know, 5-year look back, and what that means in my world, in your world, is that you have to save all those documents for 5 years and explain
Absolutely.
everything that you've done with or without your money, and so in order to become eligible for some of these other programs.
And when we think about the fiscal liability to our government, I mean, with that large amount of people coming on the scene, we're not going to be able to afford to do all that. So we really need to plan and think about what the best options of care are and what are the most affordable.
Absolutely.
And stay active.
Yes, and I just think that's going to be SCAN's mantra going forward. Not that it hasn't been, but bringing it out on our wheels in the future so that people just understand the importance of that and having the conversation. We just see too many times families not having the conversation because it's uncomfortable, more so for the kids than I believe the mature adults themselves, because they would like to, but everyone else wants to put it off.
Right. They absolutely want to put it off because they want to ignore it, and it will not go away.
It will not.
It will
We have
not.
another minute or so left, so tell us in regards to wrap up what you would want us to remember about adult daycare and what you do.
Well, why don't we start with SCAN, first of all, because if the active adult comes through, takes classes, stays active, uses their brain, uses their interest in activities, then they can slowly not need other services.
Perfect.
Okay? So, I mean, it's a reality for all of us. I think the best thing is to be an educated consumer. Don't wait until the crisis hits and you become the caregiver. Try and research your options of care.
Yeah, and I think that's really sound advice. And so I would like to, again, welcome you to SCAN.
Thank you.
And then also thank you for the great job that you've done in the community for the last 15 years. You come highly recommended and also very valued by the aging community. So I appreciate you being part of us.
It's my passion and my dedication, and I love to make a difference for all of them.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break and we'll be back in a minute.
Take it from me. Living with a chronic disease is no easy task, but I learned to better manage my health condition, and you can too. Take Control of Your Health is the chronic disease self-management program created by Stanford University. This fun, innovative course is now offered to all county residents. Diabetes, arthritis, heart disease, cancer. Take Control of Your Health gives proven strategies to manage these conditions and reclaim your life. See how nutrition, exercise, and various mind techniques can help you overcome depression, increase energy, and manage pain. You'll not only get this book when you participate, you'll also receive the guidance and support of others living with a chronic illness, just like you. Take control of your health in 6 short sessions.
Call the number on your screen to register or get further information at scannj.com. Brought to you by SCAN, Social Community Activities Network, with funding made available by the Monmouth County Office on Aging.
Welcome back. With me now is Andrea Tarr, the Program Director for SCAN, and we were going to share with you some of the upcoming events at SCAN. Welcome.
Hey Pat, how are you?
I'm great. I really am pleased to talk about all of the wonderful opportunities that we have going on here in this fabulous fall month.
That's right. Well, first of all, classes did start in September, so they're of course still going on. And some of our classes, you can, if you want to join them while the class has already started, never a problem. We'll prorate it for you. So
And I think that's important for people to know,
yeah, of course,
that they can first come take a free class to see if they like it. They can also see where the class is at so that they wouldn't be uncomfortable.
Right.
And then if they like it, yes, we would prorate it in regards to if there's a fee.
You know, that's especially important for some of the fitness classes because some people are not sure if they belong, where they belong. So you come in for one time, check it out, participate. If you don't feel it's for you, you can just walk away. But if you want to do it, we'll prorate it for you.
Yeah. And then also the Boscoff classes, the campus of courses, we're still in doing the middle of that.
Yes.
But I do want to reiterate that if one is a member of SCAN, they can go to all of those classes free.
For free.
That's a member benefit. So we're really excited that we're
And
able to offer that.
that's a huge benefit because, you know, historically now that people have learned that that's a benefit, we have many people coming to practically every class. But that's good. You know, there's no reason not to.
Last in the fall, I know that we had over 800 people attend our classes in that terrible weather. And so I'm excited that we're doing it, and we've expanded into Ocean County.
Yeah, and that's turning into be extremely successful, so much so that they actually gave us a few extra days to, because we were at overflowing capacity, literally, you know, hanging out the door.
I'm sure they'd like us to stay there much more regularly.
But it's all good. It's all happening.
So the next big thing for us this month is our annual luncheon, where we produce or we recognize people who have been very helpful to SCAN as far as leaders of distinction, both as far as corporations and also in the field of aging, and our own volunteers. So I'm really excited about that. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the aging recipients and then also our local volunteers.
Yes. Well, first of all, it is going to be held at Seabrook. They usually do that for us. And as far as the leaders of distinction in the field of aging, we have 2 extraordinary people. We have Sandy Silber and Joanne Glassoff. They are both nutrition directors. Sandy is from Interfaith Neighbors, and Joanne is from the Jewish
Family and
Children's Services, the Kosher Meals on Wheels. So we feel that they are really worthy of being honored. And then as far as our own people, so we have 2 people. We have none other than Jack Livingstone. He's been with us for a very long time. He teaches a music class. And then, of course, Donna Rauschweld, who is part of a TV production class. She's probably watching us right now.
And she's been fabulous. I mean, every Friday we can depend on her to be here, not just for the class, but helping us in the office.
She's been a great volunteer, and she's been with us for a very long time.
So I'm happy that we could take this opportunity to thank her.
Yeah.
And then our corporate sponsors is that we will be honoring the geriatric team from Monmouth Medical Center.
Yes.
So we have the 3 wonderful doctors. I believe it's Dr. Goldberg, Dr. Israel, and there's
Who's the third? Yeah, it's Right.
And so we'll honor them, and then the other one will be a surprise to the audience.
Right. Well, they've participated in a lot with us, and Shira Goldberg, she has been a keynote speaker at our Brain Health Fair, so she's been terrific. She's spoken at some of the BOSCOV events.
And the other doctor is Dr. Angie.
Oh, Dr. Angie,
Sorry.
yes, and she has been a guest on.
Yes, many
yes.
times.
Yeah.
So we're really excited, and they've been really very wonderful to us as far as doing a lot of workshops.
They really have. So that's going to be great to honor them. And let's see what else. We have our Brain Health Fair, speaking of health, coming up on November 16th.
No, November 6th.
Oh, November 6th. Sorry, 6th.
It's okay.
And this is our third annual? Yeah, third
So
annual.
explain to the audience what the Brain Health
Yeah,
Fair is.
well, we will it's a little different than a conventional health fair. We'll probably have anywhere from 15 to 20 interactive stations. Things such as aromatherapy, juggling, puzzles, card making, word puzzles, that sort of thing. There'll be some meditation component and even doing some chair yoga. Every single thing that you're doing, it's affecting mind, body, spirit, and these are all things that are working to stimulate your brain on different levels. So it's a very interactive health fair.
Yes, and we've been asked to come to Ocean County in 2016 by
Yes.
popular demand.
That's right.
And so we already have a partner and a date, and we'll share that with the audience
Yes.
at a later
And a
date.
fabulous location.
And a fabulous location. The other thing I just really want to tell our audience is that we have converted our computer lab to be a multi-purpose, multimedia facility.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that, and we're hoping that people will come and look at it and participate. We'll be doing a lot more classes
Yeah.
as far as technology is concerned. And then some of the new things that we'll be doing in 2016 is that we will have a technology fair, and we will have a travel expo.
That'll be
What
fun.
I do know, because I'm learning, that a lot of our members travel and like to travel, so we want to give them some opportunities to see what else is available,
Right.
some tips on being safe, and some really good opportunities to save money. So again, I want to thank you for all of the stuff that you do and make this happen.
You're welcome.
And I would like to tell the audience, please stop in and tour SCAN. And if it's important to you, it's important to us. Thank you.
How to locate SCAN. SCAN is easy to locate once you find the movie theater at Monmouth Mall. As you enter the parking lot from Route 35, the theater is almost directly ahead of you. Drive towards the theater, but go up along the left side into the parking lot. As you approach the end, you will see entrance number 3 on your right. Park and enter the building here. Once inside, you will see a staircase that only goes down. After passing through the doors at the bottom, turn to your left, and SCAN is right there.